The one thing you could never take away from Tom Hardy, the dude definitely makes some choices. Venom stars Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock, a hard-hitting journalist who is hit hard himself by a symbiotic parasite from another planet that apparently not only speaks our language, but also fluent sarcasm and slang. What kind of movie is this that's rolling in the wind? Well, here's 5 things you might want to know about Venom. Yeah, unfortunately, I think the line from the movie is fairly appropriate, although I do have mixed feelings on this, even though it does land in the negative column for me. Let's start with a warning, or several warnings. This movie is dark and weird. I feel like you just need to know that going in. Now, from what I understand, this character in the Marvel comic books is also very dark and weird, so that may be appropriate. And if I'm being honest, there is something about it that I kind of like. There's an energy here that you don't see in other superhero movies because of the quirkiness of what's going on here. So I am just going to give this a yellow instead of a negative because I kind of love that somebody went for this. They tried to make this. They didn't necessarily succeed, but I'm glad they tried. And I think I can tell you why with a couple of positives that I took from this movie. First is this. I love the relationship in this movie. The quirky relationship between Eddie Brock and Venom, the symbiotic, literally, relationship between the two of them is interesting and fun. I wish it had kind of been honed in a little bit more, but when it was working, I was kind of having a blast with it. And I think that's what makes the weirdness of this movie something that could be appealing if done a different way, is the interaction between the symbiote and the human and how they interact with the world. It was kind of interesting stuff. Part of the reason it works so well has to do with the other great thing about this movie, Tom Hardy. He's so good in this. I love that the man makes big swings. He's swinging for the fences. When you go see Tom Hardy in a movie, you know something interesting is going on. He can be in a movie about driving a car from one place to another place and having phone conversations and somehow make it fascinating. He is one of those kind of actors, and I love it. I would much prefer a big swing and a miss than to somebody who's just trying to bunt every time they get up to bat. I've extended that metaphor long past its due date, so let's just say Tom Hardy is awesome. And if the movie works, it's because of him. Unfortunately, the movie does not work overall, and there are big, fat reasons for that. One of them is, and this is going to sound a little bit weird, but I kind of wanted more Venom. And when I say Venom, I mean the fully realized character that was interacting with Tom Hardy. This movie starts off, and it doesn't necessarily want to be the same movie that it finishes as. And the absurdist ridiculousness of this character and this alien being is something that I think the movie could have played into even more. It's something I feel like could have been a part of the introduction of the character, that we could have kind of known what we were in store for in some more ways, or even played it up. I think it's one of those things where you get to the end of the movie and you realize, oh, I kind of like that character. I'm just not sure the movie understood who it was or gave it to us the way that would be most effective. And that's really the major problem with the film. I don't think it understands what kind of movie it is. There was lots of laughter in the theater when I watched this movie. Here's the bad part. I don't think half of it was intentional. A lot of it was uncomfortable. A lot of it was, are we supposed to think this is funny? Because this is kind of funny kind of laughter. Unintentional humor can be very funny. It just means the movie itself wasn't understanding where that comes from. And that's what I mean when I say you can play into it. If this movie had really embraced the insanity from the beginning and not asked us to take certain things so seriously, I think it could have just been an off-the-wall, crazy, insane, quirky comedy that we had a lot of fun with. You still have that fun, but because the movie doesn't mean it, it just feels off, awkward, and weird. Overall, the experience just isn't good enough for me to go above, right in the middle of the road. I gave it a C. Thanks for checking out this Your Movie Friend review. We'll get to the best ever challenge here in a bit. Before we do, let's chat movies in other places. For instance, Twitter is one of my favorite places. Hit me up at Aaron Dicer. Give a follow there. I love to chat movies and hang out there. Here in YouTube on the comments. Subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss a video. In fact, if you want to make sure you know exactly when new reviews go up, there's a little alert bell next to the subscribe button. Just click that and you'll get a notification anytime a new video goes up. Thank you for doing that. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. Having a blast with that. SiftPop, SiftPop. You can go to siftpop.com. You can listen at your favorite podcast player. It's a weekly podcast. Lots of fun stuff going on there as well. And thank you to those who support what goes on here at Your Movie Friend and at SiftPop. We will be combining the Patreons for those. So if you listen to the podcast, watch the movie reviews, and you support at the Patreon, you'll get your own podcast feed with special episodes, as well as all the perks that come with being a supporter of Your Movie Friend. So thank you for keeping this thing going. I really do appreciate it. All right, on to the Best Ever Challenge, where you name the best movie ever in a particular category. Also try to identify my choice. Let's go with the best Tom Hardy movie ever. He's been in a few, but I'm not going to go with the one where he's in the plane. I'm not going to go with the one where he's in the dune buggy or the boxing ring or the previously mentioned car or the one where he's in my dreams. I'm going to go with the one where he is in the horse. No, I know it's not actually him in the horse, but you know the movie I'm talking about. First person to get it right with their guess in the comments does get a point. I'd love to hear your choice as well for best Tom Hardy movie there in the comments. I'll give you a few extra seconds, as always, here to hit subscribe. When my face pops up, just click my face.